Olivia starts her job on the 11th. But anyway, this is a few days before the 11th, and she wanted to do a dry run driving to the jobs, to her place of work, and driving home so she doesn't get lost, because she's very much like her mother and has no sense of direction. Well, where she's working is right next door to the Dollar General that I had gone to a couple of weeks ago, and they did not have any of their fall stuff out yet. Well, obviously this time they did. They didn't have, I'm looking for two specific things. I had seen this in a Dollar General Shop With Me video, and there were two items in the video that I saw that I really would like to have, and both of my Dollar Generals that are local to me do not have either one. One is a pumpkin shaped butter dish, and the other one was a salt and pepper shaker set, and it was a wedge of pumpkin pie. That was one of the salt shakers, and then a dollop of whipped cream on the top, and that was the other shaker. And I can't find either one of those things in my local area. Now there are some other Dollar Generals that I could check, which I might do, because I would really like to have those things. But anyway, I did find a few things at the Dollar General next to Olivia's work. I got this flag. I don't know why I have so much gunk in my throat. It's allergies. This is to go beside my mom's grave, between my mom and my brother's grave. I have a little flag stand there. It says Hello Fall. I think it's so pretty. And it was only $1. And then I picked up this really unique looking pumpkin, and it's kind of flocked. It's got like a velvety touch to it, and I just loved the color of it. I loved the shape of it. It was $5. They had a green one, I think, and an orange one, but the orange was a very, I don't know, it's hard to describe it. It wasn't quite the right shade of orange. So I decided to go with the white one. And then they had these adorable mushrooms, which I will keep this out probably all year long. Again, it has like a flocked texture on the top, and this was also $5. And then they had these turkey salt and pepper shakers. So adorable. If I can't find the pie salt and pepper shakers, I'll use these on my dining room table for Thanksgiving or for the fall season. And these were $3. So that's my little Dollar General haul. Well, good morning, friends. It is Wednesday morning, and boy, do I have a story to tell you. It has been quite I don't even know what adjective to use, crazy, wild, whirlwind day yesterday. Well, since Monday, really. And yesterday did not go at all how I had planned for it to go. So if you guys are ready for some story time, go get yourself something to drink and relax, and let me explain to you what happened. So let's start the story on Monday. We had some rain. It wasn't severe. It was a little windy, nothing really to worry about. And our power stayed on. Everything was great. And then out of the blue, it was completely calm outside, our power went off right about 11 o'clock. And so Scott got up and he went and he hooked the generator up and got it started and everything. And I was the one that was delegated. I delegated myself because I knew I was going to be up anyway, to stay up and watch for when the power came back on. We can tell because our street light will come on, or Scott rigs up a light from the garage and when that's not connected to the generator. And so when the power comes back on, then that light will come on. So I have to watch for the lights. Well, our power was only out for about 2 hours. So about 1 a.m., I woke Scott back up and told him, power's on. So he went out and shut the generator off and did all of that. But he just, obviously he just left the generator sitting there, covered it up. So that would have been 1 o'clock Tuesday morning. So I finally get to sleep. I had a hard time getting to sleep, but I finally got to sleep around 2. And I was like asleep. When I finally got to sleep, I was out. I didn't hear anything at all. And I didn't wake up until about 8:30, which is later than normal. I usually wake up around 7:30, but I woke up about 8:30, got up, and it was still really gloomy and dark and gray outside. And I didn't really think anything of it. I just thought, well, I'm gonna just go about my day. So I did my morning routine. I had thought about picking up the camera yesterday and starting to vlog, but turn of events, I never picked up the camera yesterday. So I do my morning routine, and Olivia started her job yesterday. Yesterday was Olivia's first day, and Travis had been talking about buying a truck because he needed one for his job. And he had told Olivia that when he got a truck, when he found a truck and bought it, that he would give her his car so that she'd have her own vehicle. It needs some repair because a few months back he hit a deer. And he said, I'll just give you the car and then you can pay to have the repairs done. So she's like, okay. And he has a nice car. It's a 2013. And so on Saturday, he and his dad went car shopping or truck shopping, and they found a truck. He got a really nice truck. It's not brand new, 2023, but it's going to suit his needs perfectly for his job. So then Sunday, all afternoon, Olivia worked on her new car, cleaned it out. He got all of his tools out of it and all of his garbage. He's a single guy. He doesn't clean his car. And so she cleaned it real good and put new seat covers on it and just made it look really cute. Her car looks really cute. If I think about it, I'll go out and take some pictures of the inside of it for you. So anyway, Olivia doesn't have to be at her job until 10 o'clock. That's when it starts. And so she was up and getting around and everything, and she left early because she wanted to make sure she wasn't late on her first day, and so she left around 9:30, and it was still kind of gray and gloomy out, but nothing severe or anything. So I fix my breakfast or my coffee, and I come in here and I sit down and I start my devotions. And I don't know why I got a text from a friend that said, are you guys okay? Because she was watching the radar. And I said, I answered, well, yeah. And so that caused me to go on Facebook and start scrolling through and looking at the local weather. I noticed Ryan Hall was live. And so I started to get a little bit concerned because they kept talking about these storm systems that were coming. And right about that time, I could still hear thunder out in the distance. And it was like a lot of thunder, but it was quite a ways off. And I looked out the patio door, and it was just getting so dark out there. Now I've already done all my outside chores. Everything's done outside. Had fed the dogs and everything, but it just kept thundering and thundering and thundering. And so I started texting with Scott, and I'm like, do you know, is there anything severe happening? Is there anything severe coming? Because he has a weather app on his phone, and he can get on the computer and look and blah, blah, blah. So this was probably around 10 o'clock. Olivia messaged me and said she had gotten to work safely. And I just kept hearing all this rumbling of thunder. And I kept getting a little bit more anxious and a little bit more anxious. And I clicked on Ryan Hall's video, and he wasn't talking about Indiana at all. He was talking about Ohio. And I thought, well, then he starts talking about Illinois. And the way the weather patterns have been this whole spring and summer is these horrible, destructive storms come from Illinois. They come from kind of like northwest, and they come down and they go through Chicago, and then they come into Indiana. Well, most of the time by the time they hit Indiana, they've weakened some. So Illinois has been getting really bad, severe storms, tornadoes, and just all kinds of things. And so Ryan Hall starts talking about this storm that is in Illinois, and he was talking about 100-mile-per-hour winds, and just that it was going to be really bad, and that it was going to come into Indiana. And so I keep thinking, okay, I keep hearing all this rumbling of thunder, constant, still in the distance. And I'm like, because there were two little storm patterns, and what I was hearing was the first storm pattern, and it basically missed us completely. But the way he was talking about that storm that was in Illinois and how fast it was moving, I thought, I've got to get down in the basement. So me and Oliver and Percy go down in the basement, and I'm sitting down there, and I keep like scrolling on the phone and talking to different people, and I mean, it was pretty chaotic in my mind, and I kept getting more and more anxious, because I kept thinking, I need to get Bo down here, and Bo is not easy to move. He's a 50-pound dog. He doesn't lead very well. He doesn't like going down the stairs, and usually in cases like this, we're all home and the guys can get Bo downstairs. Well, I'm here by myself. Every time the thunder rumbles, Oliver starts shaking and Percy starts barking at the top of his lungs and howling. So that was making my anxiety level go up. And then I kept thinking, how am I going to get Olivia's bird? How am I going to get Bo down here with these other two maniac dogs? But I kept thinking, I need to get him down here. And because there wasn't really any tornado warnings or anything at this point, but they kept talking about these 80-mile-per-hour winds, and could be up to 100 miles per hour straight line winds. And then suddenly my phone starts blaring. You know how it does when there's a weather alert? I mean, it just scares you to death because it comes out of nowhere. And it was a severe thunderstorm warning. But that put me more on edge. And I just kept thinking, what am I going to do? How am I going to do this? Because if I go upstairs, Oliver and Percy are going to follow me upstairs. They're going to aggravate Bo when I'm trying to get him down the stairs, especially Percy's going to. So I come upstairs. Of course, the dogs follow me, and they're losing their minds. And I get Percy's collar and leash and put it on him, take them back downstairs, and then I tie him to a piece of furniture down there. And so he starts just losing his mind. He starts barking and howling and barking and howling. But I need him to stay out of my way so that I can get Bo. So I get Bo. He's scared to death. He hates thunder. And I just keep hearing how, these rumbles of thunder, they're getting closer. And it's so dark outside. It was almost like nighttime. That's how dark it was. And my anxiety was just skyrocketing. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm just so scared. I was so scared. I don't know how I'm going to do this. I keep praying, Lord, help me. Lord, help me. I'm worrying about Olivia, but I know where she works, they have a basement. But anyway, I get Bo downstairs. Wasn't exactly easy, poor old dog. I didn't have to I knew I couldn't carry him. There was no way I could pick him up and carry him. But I got him down, and I put him in the utility room. If it was just Oliver, he and Bo would get along great. But Percy's the wild card, and I never know what that dog is going to do, how he's going to behave. And I just, on top of everything else, did not need a dog fight. So we always try to keep Bo and Percy separate. Bo is a very mild-mannered dog. I don't think he would ever start anything, but I can also see him getting really aggravated with Percy's shenanigans and snap at him. And Percy, he would probably snap back, and then we'd have a mess. So anyway, I finally get Bo down, get him settled in the utility room. I go and take the leash off of Percy, and he had dragged that piece of furniture he was tied to about a foot, because that's how spastic he was. And so I sit downstairs, and I'm trying to like collect myself, and I'm thinking, okay, Bo's down here, we're down here. How am I going to get Olivia's bird? I didn't know how she caught him, and I didn't want to hurt him. And all I kept thinking was, if I go back upstairs, these dogs are going to follow me up the stairs. And so I'm like, I don't know. I'm just going to have to pray that we're okay, because I can't get Olivia's bird. And so, and in the meantime, I've got my friend Cindy, who I'm texting back and forth with Scott, I'm texting back and forth with. I didn't want to bother Olivia at work, her first day and everything, but she wasn't sure how late she was going to be. She only works part-time, and some days she said she'll work 3 hours, other days she'll work 5 hours, depending on how many clients. Well, they had a cancellation because of the weather, or a no-show, and so right around noon, when she said she might get off, I messaged her and said, do you know when you're going to be able to come home? And I said, because the weather's getting really bad. And a little bit later, she messaged and said, she told me, that they'd had a no-show, and that she was going to leave now. She was going to come home. And I said, well, be really careful, because it's really bad outside. I mean, it was pouring down rain. The wind was blowing really hard. And I said, but I can't get your bird. And also, in the meantime, my phone kept that weather alert blaring, and it turned into a tornado warning. And then I was really starting to freak out. And I'm like, but we're all down here. My friend who lives maybe 4 or 5 miles from me, she texted me and said, get in your basement. That was after the first tornado warning blare. And I told her, I said, I'm in the basement. The dogs are down here. I'm alone. I'm home alone, and I'm scared. And she said, call me. So I called her. I was in tears, you guys. I was in tears. Storms, I hate them. They scare me to death. I was home all alone. It had been very challenging to deal with the dogs, and the weather was bad. And then when we got the tornado warnings on top of everything else, I was a wreck. And so I called her, and she got me laughing within like a minute of talking to her on the phone. And she's like, I'm down in my basement too, but she doesn't really have a basement per se. She has like a storm cellar, and it's not finished, of course, and it's kind of, she's like, I'm down here with the mice. And she's like, I grabbed 2 flashlights, and I'm down here with the mice. And at this point, our power was still on. And so while I was talking to her, Olivia had messaged and said she was coming home. And I told my friend, I'm like, well, Olivia's on her way home. I said, she should be here in about 15 minutes. And she's like, well, I'll just stay on the phone with you till she gets home. And I'm like, oh, okay. So we were chatting about different things. And she's like, I had no idea this was coming. She said, if I had known, I'd have come to your house and been in the basement with you. And I'm like, yeah, it would have been much nicer. And that's when she said, yeah, better than down here with the mice. But while I was talking to her, the power went out. And not long after the power went out, I heard Olivia home. And she came down. She'd gotten her bird. She was drenched. I mean, she was drenched, soaking wet. And so we rode out the rest of the storm together. And thankfully, about 1 o'clock, it was all done. Now, the tornado warning was in effect till 1:30, but the storm had passed us. And so we came up And oh, and also I forgot to mention that while we were downstairs, and right about when the storm was passing, I mean, it was still raining hard, but the wind had died down. Travis called, and they had gotten that tornado warning at his work too. I think it's like if there's a tornado warning with any certain amount of miles, everybody's phones blare off. And when the tornado warning blared off on their phones, the company where he works said, we're shutting down, everybody go home. So Travis had gone out and gotten his truck and was getting ready to pull out of the parking lot when he saw the wall cloud coming. And then he said it just started just torrential raining, and the rain was just blowing. And so he said he just did a U-turn and went back and just sat in the parking lot because he's like, I am not driving in this. And so he called me and told me, he said, I'm sitting in the parking lot, I'm waiting for it to pass, just checking on you guys, making sure you guys are okay. And he said, and I'll be home as soon as it dies down, I'm gonna head home. And I said, okay. I said, just text me when you leave so I know. So he did, and he got home maybe around 2 o'clock, I think he got home. And of course the power was still out. And we were already back upstairs. It was still really dark out and very gloomy. It wasn't raining anymore, and it was very calm outside, but it was just really dark out. And of course it was really dark in the house. So we had flashlights and spotlights and candles and stuff going. And he said, yeah, Dad, I called Dad to tell him that when he comes home, because they work in 2 different towns, but kind of the same direction. And part of their route to work, they're driving the same roads. And so he had called his dad and told him that there were trees down everywhere, and that he had had to take alternate routes because roads were blocked, roads were closed. There was just trees down everywhere. And so it took him longer to get home. And so he called his dad, and so Scott's like, well, all right, I'm going to leave work early. So he left work early, but he didn't get home until about 3 o'clock, about the time he normally gets home. So it took him quite a lot longer to get home than ordinary. And he's got the generator running again, so that was nice. Our generator will power just about everything in the house except for the air conditioners and like high powered things like the water heater. It really bogs it down if the water heater kicks on. Or I tried to use the air fryer to help fix supper last night, and that didn't work. It really bogged down. But anyway, so he got the generator going. So we had lights, we had fans. We even were able to watch TV and stuff like that. So it wasn't too terrible. And then after supper, we decided to drive around and just kind of see, the local damage in our area. And we drove around, and I forgot my phone. I walked out of the house without my phone. So I used his phone to take some pictures and take some video. So I will include that here.
That tree was snapped off, and it landed across those wires and pulled that pole down. Might be what's keeping our power off.
Well, there's some branches down over this person's yard too.
And in this person's yard here, we got some more.
Oh, there's some bunch of branches down there.
Yeah.
Oh, they got lots of branches down. Tree got uprooted.
Yeah. The other one next to it looks like it started.
Oh man, that wind was vicious.
Yeah, see, this stuff's all out in the open too. That makes a huge difference.
got hit real bad. Lots of trees, branches
Snapped
down.
those trees right off at the top. Crazy.
There was a storm chaser shared some LaPorte County video of a
There you go.
grove of pine trees that got snapped. Oh man, that was a nice tree too.
Looks like it's hollow.
Yeah.
It's sorts out the good trees from the bad trees, don't it?
It sure does.
Yeah, it was weak.
Glad it missed their house.
Yeah. I'm sure they're glad too.
Oh boy, look at this.
Yeah, they were working down here.
Ooh,
Look at back there.
deer.
Oh, there's a little baby.
There might be another one. Yep.
Yeah. Hey, Ma.
There's two mamas and two babies.
That's weird. Usually you don't see that.
Tree branches down. So then finally our power came back on around 8 o'clock last night. And there are still people in the area whose power is out. North of us, in a town called Gary, and in that area is way north. It's like right close to the Michigan line, Illinois-Michigan line. When that storm came across Illinois, it was still almost full strength when it hit that area. And oh my goodness, the devastation that I have been seeing on Facebook, absolutely horrific. And the National Weather Service has officially categorized what that was as a derecho. And thankfully, we were just south of that main really severe stuff. I don't know what I think the wind speeds in our area was clocked at around 60 to 70 miles per hour, which is still pretty high, but those counties just north of us was 100 plus mile per hour straight line winds. It was like an EF1 tornado, only straight line winds, not rotating. And the trees that are down are just absolutely horrific. And we are so blessed that in our area, yes, there's damage, but there was not anything like what happened just north of us. And on our property, we have a few limbs down, a few twigs, and lots of leaves, and no major damage on our property. And I'm just so thankful for that. And I'm thankful that everyone got home safe and that we have a generator. And even though it was extremely scary and nerve-wracking for me, I was able to get through it, obviously. I'm here telling you the story. But just pray for the people in Illinois and in northwest Indiana, because that was an absolutely horrible storm. And people died. There's been some loss of life. There's been so much property damage, and it was bad. It was really bad. And I'm thankful that at the time, I did not know how bad it was, because I would have been even more of a wreck. I'm thankful for my friends who reached out to me. Cindy, thank you so much for reaching out to me. She kept me between talking to my friend who lives local and my friend Cindy, who doesn't live local, texting with her. I was able to make it through that with a relative calm, even though I was crying. I was crying and I was scared, but I was not panicking. So I'm thankful for that. Oh, what a day it was. What a day it was. Yeah. I told my friend that I was talking to on the phone, I said, all right, this is it. Officially, winter is my favorite season now. It used to be fall. Fall used to be my favorite season, but we get tornadoes and bad storms in the fall time too. So I think winter's my favorite season now. She's like, yeah, you can listen to Christmas music. And I said, yeah, and if we have a blizzard, we just all stay home and drink hot cocoa. But anyway, thank the Lord we're all safe, and we came through that unscathed. My dad's fine, everybody's fine, and we're thankful. Now, because of the weather and the power outages and everything, Olivia's boss messaged her last evening and said she'd had a ton of cancellations, and so Olivia didn't go to work today. So her second day on the job, and she stayed home. But hopefully she'll be back to work tomorrow. And she also told me that starting next week, now I've told you in the past that the dog groomer where she works is the one that I take Oliver and Percy to, and it's in the same building as the Mercantile. And so her boss told her that they actually need help with the cashier position in the Mercantile part of the building. And so Olivia, in the mornings, she's going to be grooming dogs, and then in the afternoons, she's going to be working the cash register. So her part-time job has now become more of a full-time job, which is great. It's going to be a really good opportunity for her. And yesterday, even though the weather was terrible, and they did have the weather going, they had the TV on and was watching the weather, and because they were going to go in the basement if they needed to, and everything was pretty crazy yesterday, she had a really good time. And she said the dogs that she groomed, or she bathed, because she's bathing the dogs and then she's learning how to groom them, so she was just bathing the dogs. She said they were just so sweet, and she just loved it. And so I'm very, very happy that she has her own car and a job that she is so far, although like I said, she's only been there one day, so far she's loving it, and I'm just very, very happy for her. All right, I have been chatting forever, and this video is going to be very long because it's going to be more than just a sit-down video. So I am going to finish my coffee. I'm going to do my devotions, get a shower, and then I will pick you guys back up when I am ready to start working in this house and doing something around here. Apparently, we are supposed to have more bad weather today. They say it's not supposed to be as severe as yesterday, but look how gray the clouds are, or the sky is. I just hate this. I am so ready for winter. I would say fall, but like I said before, fall is not much better than summer as far as severe weather goes. But let's go do a real quick late summer garden check. I want to check on it after all that rain yesterday anyway. Hi, boys. Olivia wasn't able to change the water yesterday because the power was out. So she needs to make sure and do that today before it starts storming again. Maybe it's just going to rain. It's just going to rain. No storms, just rain. All right. We've been having a little bit of an issue with some tomato worms, but Olivia's been trying to make sure she checks every day. These tomatoes, I think I'm going to pick it because it's starting to get some bad spots on the top for some reason. There's two there. I'm going to pick those as well. Our cucumbers are, I don't know, I think they're at the end of their life. I see some there that are ready to pick. Olivia picked a bunch yesterday, so I need to get those processed today. I'll have her come out and pick these when she comes out to take care of the duck water. But yeah, it's starting to look kind of bedraggled out here. We've had a pretty good crop this year. I think it seems like they were slow. Oh, look at that. Blossom end rot. That means they need some calcium. I'm going to have her try to do something about that. But anyway, yeah, it definitely looks like the middle of August, doesn't it? Things are really starting to wind down. But I was saying, it seems like the tomatoes have been taking forever to ripen this year. I don't know why, because look at all those green tomatoes on there, and it's the middle of August. They should be ripening by now. But anyway, there's that. And while I'm out here, I'll take you over to Olivia's car and show you how she has it all decorated inside. All right, I'm not going to show you the outside of her car just for safety reasons. I mean, this is the internet after all. Although my channel is small, I don't really have to worry about any of my regular subscribers, but I still want to just be safe. But these are the cute little seat covers. She's got her CDs in here. This is a Bluetooth thingamabob. I don't know how it works, but this is her rear view mirror, how she has it all decorated up with the dream catcher and those beads that she bought a while back thrifting. And then here's her little air freshener that she just bought. When we went and did the thrifting and she bought this, we didn't know that just within a few days she was going to have this car. But there's the back seat. It's a two-door car, so the back seat hardly ever gets used. And you can tell that my son, with his dirty body, when he'd get off of work, would rest his arm right there. She scrubbed and scrubbed and scrubbed, and that's the best she could do. She could, best she could get it clean. But it's clean, and it smells good in here, and it's a nice car, and it's safe. And that's what's important. So here's my Live Forever. This is typical how they look about this time of year. Starting to get the blooms, and then they get so heavy they kind of fall over and kind of splay out a little bit. And then my butterfly bush, it finally did produce some flowers. It's not nearly as big as it usually is, and it may not even come back next year, but I've had it for many, many years, so I've gotten a lot of use out of that plant. And here's the front deck. You can see my umbrellas are pushed over, and that was from that horrible wind yesterday. My flowers, my fake flowers here, they have really gotten faded. I was hoping I could get two years out of them, and I probably will, but I may have to buy a few more next year to add some more brightness to it, because they have really faded, especially the blue ones and the yellow ones. Now those brighter pink ones are still good, and then of course the white ones, those don't really, fade. Here's my impatiens. They're finally starting to do better. They haven't been putting off a lot of blossoms this year, and I don't know why exactly. You can see all the debris on my deck from that big bad wind yesterday. Try to straighten these umbrellas back up. It's so wet. There we go. That's better. But basil is definitely bolting. I need to give some of this to the animals, the chickens and Olivia's bird. The lemon verbena is going crazy. And oh my goodness, rosemary is doing really well. My thyme, my they see me. Oh no, it's the postman is here pulling down the driveway. They must have a package for me. Here's my parsley. All right, I'm gonna shut this off and get my mail. So this is what the mail lady was dropping off. She said I won the biggest package of the day award. But let me get it unboxed and I'll show you what I bought. All right, so this is what I ordered. It's a beautiful fall picture, fall canvas. I was watching a video the other day, and the person I was watching was in Hobby Lobby, and they were showing some gorgeous fall pictures. So we don't have a Hobby Lobby around here, and I thought, well, I'll go on their website and see what I can find. Everything that I liked was already out of stock. So I'm like, all right, let's go to Amazon. And so I went to Amazon and I found this beautiful fall picture, which I'm gonna hang right there when the time comes. But let me get it out of the plastic so there's not so much glare on it. All right, here it is. I love it. Now it's just a canvas print, but they did add a little, I don't know, detailing on there to make it look a little bit more like an actual painting. There's some texture on it. I think it's beautiful, and I can't wait to put it up there. Well, unfortunately, several cucumbers got frozen in the refrigerator. And this one, I know it doesn't look bad, but it's real, like, squishy. It's very squishy. So these are gonna go to the chickens as soon as it stops raining. All right, it's finally stopped raining. So let's take these cucumbers to the chickens. Chick, chick, chicks. Chick, 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 chicks. Here they come. We've got some other produce that we didn't eat fast enough. Down here. I feel kind of bad that these cucumbers went to, oops, sorry girl, went to waste. Well, they're not really going to waste. It's just that we didn't eat them. I had no idea they were getting frozen in there. But the chickies will enjoy them. All right, friends, this is where I'm going to go ahead and end this video for today. I'm sorry if it was too long for you guys. I try to keep my videos around 30 minutes, but this one went a bit longer. But I did have a big story to tell. So I hope you enjoyed that story time. I'll keep praying for this area. There's areas that are just absolutely devastated by those storms, and they're running out of gas at gas stations, and it's just terrible. So just keep Northwest Indiana in your prayers. Hope you all have a wonderful weekend, and we will see you again on Wednesday with a brand new video. Bye-bye, friends.